Greetings, seekers of the unknown. Welcome back to our deep dive into chilling religious mysteries. Imagine holding power over millions of lives, yet living in absolute terror of your own death. China's first emperor sought eternal life through metallic pills. The cure became his killer. Why did the greatest minds of the ancient world believe swallowing mercury and lead meant immortality? Tonight, we unlock the dark secrets of Taoist alchemy. The hunt for the elixir begins now. The year is 210 BC. Emperor Qin Shi Huang has just unified the vast lands of ancient China. He commands an invincible army and rules with an iron fist, but a dark fear consumes his mighty soul. The supreme ruler of the mortal realm is completely terrified of his inevitable mortality and death. According to ancient records, he dispatched massive fleets across the oceans to find mythical islands. He demanded his scholars and alchemists produce a magical potion to grant him absolute eternal life. These fanatical alchemists presented him with glowing pills, promising they contained the essence of gods. The emperor eagerly swallowed these toxic creations, believing he was absorbing divine cosmic power. But these sacred pills were forged from lethal heavy metals. He was slowly poisoning his own royal blood. His skin turned a ghastly shade of gray, his mind fractured into deep paranoia and horrifying madness. He suffered agonizing pain, his organs shutting down while clutching the very medicine that killed him. Instead of conquering death, his obsession accelerated his gruesome demise on a lonely inspection tour. The great empire collapsed shortly after his passing, plunging the unified nation back into chaos. If you possessed unlimited wealth and power, would you also risk drinking poison to live forever? Why did these brilliant scholars believe that consuming lethal toxins could somehow conquer human aging? To understand this fatal logic, we must travel further back in time and explore ancient Taoist philosophy. Centuries before the empire, a legendary sage named Lao Tzu wandered through the misty mountains of China. He penned the Tao Te Ching, introducing the concept of the Tao, the natural order of the universe. Central to this philosophy is Qi, the invisible life force flowing through every living and breathing thing. They believed health and longevity depended on the perfect balance of yin and yang energies inside us. Early Taoists sought harmony through meditation, but later generations developed a dangerous new ambition. They shifted from spiritual harmony to physical immortality, creating the practice of Waidan alchemy. Waidan, or external alchemy, operated on a seemingly logical but fundamentally flawed ancient principle. They observed that organic matter, like human flesh, rotted away, but certain minerals remained unchanged. Gold never rusted, and jade never decayed. Therefore, these elements possessed the secret to eternal life. The logic was simple: ingest substances that never die, and your physical body will become immortal. Alchemists retreated to secluded mountain caves, building massive bronze furnaces to cook these elements. They spent decades grinding rocks, heating ores, and mixing highly reactive chemicals in complete secrecy. They believed that by passing minerals through intense fire, they could extract their pure cosmic essence. This extracted essence was condensed into the mythical golden elixir, the ultimate prize of all alchemy. But their most prized ingredient was not gold. It was a blood-red mineral known as Cinnabar. Cinnabar is a highly toxic mercury sulfide ore, visually striking with its deep crimson coloration. To the ancient mind, red symbolized blood, vitality, and the powerful yang energy of the blazing sun. When heated, Cinnabar undergoes a magical transformation, sweating out beads of liquid silver metal. This magical liquid was mercury. They called it the living metal, a substance defying all natural laws. They believed mercury was the concentrated blood of the earth, holding the ultimate power of resurrection. The obsession with mercury reached its terrifying peak in the construction of Qin Shi Huang's Grand Tomb. Deep beneath Mount Lai, a massive underground necropolis was built to mirror the emperor's vast domain. Guarded by thousands of silent terracotta warriors, the tomb was designed as an eternal spiritual fortress. But the most shocking feature was hidden deep inside the central burial chamber, sealed in absolute darkness. Sima Qian, the grand historian, wrote that the tomb contained rivers and oceans of flowing liquid mercury. Mechanical devices kept the toxic silver rivers circulating forever, mirroring the great waterways of China. Modern radar scans have confirmed dangerously high levels of mercury contamination in the soil above the tomb. The grand historian's terrifying accounts were not myths. The toxic rivers actually exist beneath the earth. These mercury rivers were not just elaborate traps to poison grave robbers seeking the emperor's treasures. In Taoist feng shui, flowing water generates energy. A river of mercury generates eternal cosmic power. The emperor built an engine of immortality, hoping the toxic fumes would sustain his soul in the afterlife. Back in the world of the living, the dark art of external alchemy continued to claim royal victims. Furnaces burned day and night across the empire, refining lead, arsenic, and mercury into golden pills. These alchemists documented their experiments on bamboo scrolls, creating the world's first chemistry texts. But their chemistry lacked medical understanding. They mistook the symptoms of poisoning for transformation. When patients felt burning sensations, the alchemists claimed the divine fire was purifying their mortal veins. When patients suffered terrifying hallucinations, they believed they were communicating with heavenly spirits. When skin erupted in sores, they claimed the body was shedding its mortal shell to become a pure god. Modern science reveals a different truth. These were classic symptoms of severe heavy metal poisoning. Mercury attacks the central nervous system, destroying brain cells and causing extreme psychological terror. Arsenic causes massive organ failure, turning the quest for life into a slow, agonizing method of suicide. Would you blindly trust a spiritual leader if their promised salvation brought you unbearable physical pain? Despite the mounting body count, the allure of conquering death remained an irresistible temptation. Generations of nobles continued to consume these cursed pills, blinded by their desperate fear of aging. This deadly tradition reached its catastrophic climax centuries later during the glorious Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty was a golden age of art and culture, yet its palaces hid a dark chemical nightmare. At least 6 magnificent Tang emperors died directly from consuming toxic alchemical elixirs of life. They collapsed off their golden thrones, convulsing in agony as the heavy metals destroyed their bodies. The imperial courts finally realized that eating rocks and poisonous metals brought nothing but endless tragedy. Faced with this undeniable historical trauma, the Taoist masters initiated a radical philosophical shift. They abandoned the toxic furnaces and the deadly Cinnabar pills, turning their focus entirely inward. This monumental turning point gave birth to Neidan, the profound practice of internal spiritual alchemy. Instead of mixing chemicals in a bronze pot, the practitioner's own body became the sacred laboratory. Through deep meditation and rigorous breath control, they sought to refine their internal Qi energy. They visualized the circulation of light along their meridians, balancing the vital forces of yin and yang, True immortality was no longer about preserving the flesh, but achieving a state of spiritual enlightenment. The external elixir was recognized as a deadly illusion. The true elixir was cultivated within the soul. This transition saved countless lives and laid the foundation for modern practices like Qigong and Tai Chi. The ancient quest for the elixir leaves us with a haunting paradox about the fragility of human nature. In their desperate, blind rush to escape the natural cycle of death, they only managed to accelerate it. The emperors built empires, but could not conquer the microscopic toxins they willingly swallowed daily. But the human obsession with conquering death takes many strange forms across different global religions. While Chinese emperors poisoned themselves with mercury, others sought immortality through darker means. Far away on the muddy banks of the Ganges River, a radical sect defies the laws of purity and decay. They cover themselves in human ashes and consume the unimaginable to prove that death is an illusion. These terrifying ascetics force us to question the very boundaries between the sacred and the profane. Next time on Global Religious Mysteries, we journey into India to meet the flesh-eating Aghori monks. The emperors sought godhood, but found only agonizing death. Was their pursuit of eternal life a tragedy? Or is the fear of death a fatal flaw woven into human nature? Tell us your opinions in the comments. If you enjoyed this dark mystery, please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to us now.